in the comment section just below the video, and the number is 0956 200 0956 200 This morning we do have an interesting topic altogether. Topic of discussion is understanding the Ichabache movement. This is our topic of discussion this morning, and I'm privileged to be joined in studio by Nkana Member of Parliament, Honorable Binwell Mpundu. Honorable, good morning and welcome to Chatback.
Good morning to you, Angel. Thank you so much for having me this morning in this studio. It has been a long time. Permit me to also pass greetings to those that may be joining us this morning. Thank
Most
you.
definitely. It has been a long time.
Yeah, indeed.
But otherwise, 11 months into the year, how would you describe the year for you so far?
Well, the year has been quite interesting. A lot of learning, points. We are young people who have been given an opportunity to learn, leadership, and I've been privileged myself to have come a long way learning. And I think that, like they say, learning is a continuous, process, and at no time can anyone say that I'm now a master of the trade. And so it's been quite an interesting, journey, first of all, from the time that I got into Parliament, in 2021. The last 1 year has been quite challenging, seeing how democracy has been deteriorating, seeing just how terrible things have become in the country, where people are hardly surviving. Here I sit and receive all manner of reports from people who are wishing or are hoping for us to represent them. So it's a whole catalog of issues presented to you. When people think that you are able to present their issues, they will bombard you with all manner of issues. If I open my inbox, it's a whole range of issues that people are expecting us to present on their behalf on the floor of Parliament. And this is heartbreaking, to understand the extent of the challenges people are going through. One would need to open their ears more to listen to the lamentations of the people. And this is across all facets. Okay, the farmers are complaining, businessmen are closing their businesses. What with ZRA now being unleashed on the businesses, imagine today any default on tax payment. Remember, the economy is in distress. Companies are failing to pay suppliers, contractors, as an example. The challenge with ZRA now is that when a company defaults, they have to cancel their tax clearance. Now, when you cancel a tax clearance for a company, it means that they can no longer trade. Okay, so they owe you, you want them to pay, but you now also disable them by way of cancelling their tax clearance. So how then do you expect them to pay? And now, that is on top of the challenges in the energy sector. And the energy sector is, in both ends. Fuel has been a challenge now. Not only is fuel expensive, it's also becoming, a problem or a challenge to access the fuel. I did predict, some time back in some videos you'll see being played on social platforms, where I said the change in these policies around the fuel subsector. What will happen if we had trouble where we get our fuel, as an example in Tanzania? And just like I predicted, there is trouble in Tanzania, and it has affected the flow of the commodities. So when you look at this, the electricity, in fact, now we are slipping into further trouble in terms of electricity. You've just heard Zambezi River Authority slapping our government with penalties for overusing the water allocated to us, meaning that we are now going to experience even worse in terms of load shedding, because they cannot produce any more or further than what they're producing now in the Kariba, North Bank. And so it's a daunting period.
Most definitely. And we'll get to some of these issues a little bit later. But like you have said, this year has been a roller coaster for you. You would
just
say,
been suspended.
It's been a roller coaster for you. But also, I want to get things right. I'll start first. I know you took time yesterday, social media, to explain why you were suspended in the National Assembly. Now, we know you as Nkana Member of Parliament, even before the Ichawaichi movement comes in. And that particular score means you have a responsibility to represent the people of Nkana. So I know you had a chance to have a conversation with people on Facebook, but perhaps for some people that up to now do not understand why you were suspended for 14 days, then 30 concurrently. So we stick with 30 days. If you could just briefly explain so that we add up some follow-up questions to your suspension, because now the people of Nkana are sort of worried to say 30 days, who's going to be speaking on our behalf? So just briefly explain to us.
Angel, thank you so much for this question. Let me start by saying that I am not a perfect human being. I'm a human being with a lot of flaws, okay? In my wanting to perfect my art of leadership, I may overstep my boundaries. I may say something or do something that society deems unfit. But I want to tell you, from the very bottom of my heart, I mean well for the people of Zambia, because I have risked it all to represent the people. I have often said things that many are scared of saying, especially in times like this when the government is very oppressive. Many politicians are scared of standing up to speak. I have done that, okay? I have risked my life. Right now, there is a rope hanging on my neck because I urged people to start defending themselves, against those criminals who were attacking them during by-elections. A rope is hanging on my neck. Am I worried? No, I'm not. Is it worth dying for this country? Yes, it is worth. Imagine if our forefathers did not risk their lives. This country would still be under colonial rule. So there's always have to be some people who stake their neck, for the sake of our country, and that is exactly what I'm doing. Is it? Am I going to be thanked for it? I don't need to be thanked for it, okay? Because I do understand that politics is a thankless job. But let's do this. I am being suspended for the second time in a very short period of time. Angel, it will interest people not to rush at commenting or apportioning blame, but to understand what is really going on. The first suspension, Angel, this is the incidence. I am in Parliament making a contribution. At that time, we were discussing the borrowing plan for the year 2025. In fact, it was a supplementary borrowing that the UPND were proposing. I had always wondered, why are we always borrowing when we have plenty of resources that we can harness for the good of our people? And then I asked the Minister of Finance, could it be that this borrowing is motivated by some commissions? Of course, they were very furious. Why am I suggesting that there is corruption and what? The next day, we were now actually looking at the actual borrowing plan. In the actual borrowing plan, there was a provision of what was called a commission of 1% towards whatever it is that we're proposing to borrow. They called it the facilitation fee. And in my submission, I was basically saying, you see, yesterday you were, castigating me for wondering whether there's a commission people are getting, or, there's a katamulomo people are getting from this insatiable appetite to borrow. Here we are in the borrowing plan. There's this 1%. Now, as to whether that 1% was going to an individual, it was going to the facilitators, is another thing. But the fact remained that the country was losing a further 1%. Now, when you do the maths, you borrow $1.5 billion. 1% of $1.5 billion is a lot of money that we have to pay in the name of facilitation. So I was making that submission, and people were so agitated on the right side of the speaker, to a point that the next debater, who is MP for Zambezi West, went and actually literally insulted me. And I stood up on a point of order. I raised a point of order. I was ignored by the speaker. So when I sat down, I was merely complaining in my seat, but Speaker, this guy is, antagonizing me on the floor, and you have allowed him to continue. The speaker then turns to me and said, no, you are debating from your seat. Now, debating from the chair or from the seat is normal in Parliament. We actually heckle, we actually speak out from our seats. We say all manner of things from this. It's normal. It's part of parliamentary, activities or proceedings. Even when we say, yeah, that's actually debating, because debating from the chair means you speaking when you have not been given a chance to speak. So when you say, yeah, that is literally also debating from your chair. So the speaker then turns to me and say, look, you are becoming, very unreasonable, or you are exhibiting, the lack of decorum in the House because you are debating from the chair. Now, she forgets that I have risen on a point of order to challenge somebody who is literally insulting me while he's taking the floor. As she was talking to me, I was seated with Honorable Katuta on the left, the Chienge MP. So I am paying attention to what the speaker is saying to me. All right. Then Honorable Katuta signals to me like she wanted to speak to me. So I tend to look at Honorable Katuta on my left side. Then the speaker goes like, you are not remorseful. I am talking to you. You are looking on the other side. I have no choice but to send you out for 7 days. Imagine being sent out of Parliament for simply, looking on the other side, and you're looking on the other side because your friend has signaled to you. All right? That is how I was suspended for 7 days. Of course, it went into 14 days. Okay, because she removed the holidays and all that. Now, this particular suspension, in July this year, as usual, Mongo MP was at it, misbehaving when I was on the floor. At that point, I was beckoning the Mongo MP to sit down. Now, I used the Bemba saying, Iwe yateke punch. Now, let me clarify this, Angel. I don't know what tribe you are, Angel. In my language, first of all, let's understand parliamentary decorum or the rules of parliament. English is the agreeable language to use in Parliament. Now, it will interest the members of the public to know that no ways does the rule of Parliament prohibit the use of any other language in Parliament. The rules of Parliament actually allows any member of Parliament to use any other language for as long as you interpret it into English. And you have heard so many people use different languages, but they are always asked to meaning they are expected to translate or interpret what that means in English. So when I said yateke panshi, Angel, no matter how much you hate Binwell Mpundu, or no matter how much you don't like me, yateke panshi will never be an insult or unpalatable language. It is simply a Bemba colloquial, which simply means sit down or relax. I am Bemba. When I express myself in my language, could it be that people don't want us to speak in our own language? Whereas on the other hand, it is provided for. You can use your language for as long as you interpret it. If this matter does not sit well with the speaker, she has the powers to say, can you interpret that or can you withdraw? There are so many times when members of Parliament have used languages or statements that don't sit well with the speakers. What are they told? Simply to withdraw. But here, I am being sent out for 14 days for a statement that, first of all, is not an insult.
So that's the first case for 14 days.
That's the first case for 14 days.
That is what was categorized as unpalatable language.
Unpalatable language.
Let's get to the 30 days.
So let's make it very clear. I'm being sent out for 14 days for a statement which in any way is not an insult. For a statement which, yes, is not in the language agreed to be used in Parliament, but Parliament, under its rules, agrees that you can use any other language for as long as you translate it. And the speaker will always insist, what do you mean by that statement? So I am sent out for simply asking that gentleman to sit down. in my own language, yateke, and I want to make it very clear, yateke will never be an insult, no matter how much you want to hate me, no matter how much you don't like me, it would never be an insult. It will always be proudly part of our language in Bemba. Yateke will always be sit down. It's a colloquial expression in Bemba. The second incidence refers, or rather is derived or stems from the statement I made on a podcast. Now, interestingly, Angel, there are many times when we've brought issues in Parliament that are covered on social platforms, and the speaker will tell you we don't entertain anything on social platforms, right? So many issues we've taken into Parliament, and the speaker will always say we don't discuss matters on social media. Today, I make a statement on a radio program like this one, which is obviously on social platforms. The speaker or whoever complained picks that matter, takes it to Parliament as a way of complaint, and I'm being suspended for 30 days. For matters that otherwise don't constitute what we discuss in Parliament, I'm being sent out for 30 days. Well, I referred to Parliament as being useless. That is why I'm being sent for 30 days. In any case, it is up to the public to judge whether Parliament is being useful or it is being useless. I don't want to go back. Rest, I'm also being called back again. Say you repeated the statement, but I'm basically just explaining what led to my suspension.
Yeah, but why did you call Parliament useless?
Parliament
is a place that you found almost every day.
You see,
why would you call it useless?
Parliament is a place where we go to exercise our democratic rights. It means in that place, whereas democracy can fail anywhere and everywhere, democracy must not be allowed to fail in Parliament. That's a place of refuge for the whole lot of citizens. That is a place where we can go and exercise without reprimand, without fear, without favor. Sadly today, even when we are protected, we are under immunities as members of Parliament, that whatever it is that we say cannot be used against us in any courts of laws. We find ourselves being caught up in court processes. As an example, Munia is serving months in prison for statements that he made within Parliament precinct. Now, the law states a member of Parliament has immunities on any statements they make within the precincts of Parliament. Precinct is defined to mean the actual house, the chamber, and the entire surrounding of Parliament, including our residence. Munia makes a statement alleging, which is obviously alleging corruption, but makes that statement at our media center. We took the magistrate to the media center during the proceedings of the courts to show him that this is a place where Munia made a statement. Unfortunately, he proceeds to hand a sentence to Munia over a statement which ordinarily is covered under the immunities, or what we call, what is the exact law? The Privileges Act. So now, when you see these things happening, as an example, Munia at some point, police in plain clothes came and almost abducted him. We are being sent out of Parliament, suspended for 7 days for simply looking away from the speaker when she's speaking. We are censured, we are reprimanded, we are scolded at. Don't you think we have a reason to complain that Parliament has lost its value? Okay. Maybe the statement useless may be too harsh, but I think that the true meaning of Parliament has been lost because of all these things that we are.
So you are then agreeing that you were wrong when you called it useless?
Well, let me accept that the word could have been too strong, but like I said, we cannot continue to exercise double standards in how we manage the affairs of Parliament.
So for the 30-day suspension, you are okay with this?
No, I'm not okay.
Because you are accepting.
I am not okay, Angel.
Was strong.
Angel.
You could have maybe used another word.
Angel, I am not okay because this is the same Parliament that would not entertain anything recorded on social media. How is it that the same parliament today is, entertaining something that I spoke out that is recorded on social platform? Don't you see that there's double standards in the way we are applying ourselves? Whereas the statement could be too extreme, but it was spoken where? Using a platform that you or Parliament has said we don't indulge ourselves in discussions around. So these are things that are making us become apprehensive, especially so.
Yeah.
Just last week when I was presenting a motion on urging government to start managing critical minerals, the Mungu MP literally was insulting me on the floor.
Do you have some special relations with the Mungu member of Parliament?
No, I don't. I don't even know the gentleman. I don't even wish to know him. I think he's my colleague in Parliament. He deserves to respect me. But oftentimes, he has been out attacking all of us. How is it that the same member of Parliament is always caught up? Kapianga was calling him a Freemason. I'm telling him, sit down. Last week he was literally insulting me, calling me senseless, and the speaker was there when I was complaining. Madam Speaker, you need to censure this person. How is it that this person who is a bully attacking us all the time always walks scot-free, but meanwhile we are caught up?
So you feel there's unfair treatment?
There's too much unfairness in the way we are being treated, Angel, and I think that we need to introspect this issue.
I had an opportunity to interview one of your colleagues on this very platform, Luena Member of Parliament, Honorable Mubita Nakoka, who said he's not really happy with the manner in which you conduct yourself in the National Assembly.
Who? Me in particular?
Yes, you in particular. And he said he feels you come out that way sometimes in the National Assembly because you want to gain popularity for perhaps maybe your ambitions for 2026. Is it true that perhaps you're using that platform that the people of Nkana constituency have given to you to sort of come out in a way that you're going to attract masses under your movement?
Angel, interestingly, society is so wired, sadly, to always pay attention to the reactions as opposed to the provocations. You must ask yourselves, if Binwell is going to react towards somebody, why is he reacting? You don't react to something that is not there, right? A reaction is always against something that is done. Okay, there's always aggression going on the other side from the guys, our friends, on the ruling party. They go scot-free. Society pays no attention to the aggressions. Society is quick to admonish us for our reactions. Oftentimes, even being so unfair, as an example, you want to insist that Teka Matakopanshi is an insult. Unfortunately, it would never, unless you are demanding that we change our language, we stop using our colloquials in our own language. That is, if that is what the people wants to do. But this is society now. Society wants us, or wants we who are victims to be the villains. Luena says, I want to gain popularity. I have not started politics today. In fact, the little people know about is not of today. I have come a long way. I was district governor of the city of Kitwe. People knew me then, not even now. So am I trying to gain popularity now? No. The challenge we have in this country is that people hate the truth. When you say the truth, people will think that you are being sensational, you are being unrealistic, you are being antagonistic, you are, trying to gain fame. I am one of those who says the truth shall always be stated as such. I will not be made to conform to the order of the day and run away from what must be done. If Luena feels it is okay for him to antagonize me and he thinks he will go scot-free, I have some good news for Luena MP. If it means gaining popularity, I will, in the name of self-defense. I will defend myself. I will protect the integrity of Parliament by ensuring that the bullies are put in their space. In this case, in fact, Luena and Mongu are the worst culprits when it comes to bullying. We have not had peace in that house, Angel. Alabala tuchitobu bya babantu aba. But what can we do? They are always protected by the Speaker. Us, whenever we nangfe wakola fe nangfe kuseka, you saw Honorable MP for Luano Mukushi Vachisopa being sent out of the house for simply laughing. There was a time when the Speaker was telling me, why are you laughing? And I'm like, Speaker, no kuseka mwadikanya nomba. So
in the manner in which you come out in the National Assembly, others will support you to say, yes, Honorable Binwell is speaking on our behalf, is speaking for some of the injustices. But others that's outside the National Assembly say that you overdo it, you do it too much. Others have been there to say, look, Honorable Mpundu, you're not the last, you're not the first. You're not the first and you're not the last member of Parliament. You can come out in a better way as opposed to from others who even say, Binwell wala imona when he's in the National Assembly. So how do you respond to such criticism that has come in the manner in which you articulate issues and also bring out issues in the National Assembly? Because people are watching every day. People are listening through social media, through radio, through television. They are seeing what's happening. And there's that conclusion to say, Binwell wala imona, especially in the National Assembly.
Unfortunately, I am a guy who does things on personal conviction. No matter what you say about Angel, I am not moved. Whether on social platforms I'm insulted, whether they form up, groupings to want to attack me, I am not moved for as long as I have the conviction that what I am doing is right and good for the people of Zambia. I'll tell you this. I have used 3 statements that have been labeled unparliamentary. Number 1 is when I told somebody, Ulimukulu-san. No matter how much you hate me, Angel, Ulimukulu-san would never be unpalatable. It would never be an insult. Is it allowed? Yes. Parliament allows you to use any language for as long as if the Speaker is not comfortable, they can ask you to interpret. So Ulimukulu-sana means you are too old to behave in that manner. And that is a statement referred to people who fails to conduct themselves in their age. Is it too much to tell somebody like that? No. If you misbehave yourself, Angel, are we wrong to ask you to behave in an orderly manner? No. The next statement is when I refer to somebody as Ichimutwe. You have a big head. Ichimutwe is also an expression meant to basically put yourself in a space because you are misbehaving. Is it strange to hear somebody refer to another person as Ichimutwe? When we were growing up, these are day-to-day responses to provocation. Are you telling me these are day-to-day. Even now as we speak, there are people calling each other Ichimutwe. Because these are acceptable reactions to especially provocations. Take a matako punch. Ya take a punch. It will, no matter what you want to say or do, or no matter how much you want to vilify Binwell, it will never amount to an insult. It would never. I'm okay if you insult me or if you want to do propaganda, but unfortunately, it will never move me because that is not an insult. Now,
all those terms that you've used, before you go further, all those terms that you've used, you are also alive to the fact that the National Assembly is not only followed by a grouping of the older generation. There's also the young generation, the Gen Zs. Even some as little as 11, 12, 13, 14 are listening to your debates and you using such terms. Would you be happy on the streets if you find a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old that keenly follows Parliament use such terms on the other because they heard it from you?
Angel,
would you be happy?
When I was growing up, Angel, statements like Ichimutwe were normal And I want to believe they are still normal now. When I was growing up, being told ulimukulu sana was very normal. And I want to believe it is very normal even today. Teka matako panshi, our parents used to proudly tell us that. Unless I don't know where you grew up, Angel. Now, let me answer that question. This, don't even be swayed to move with the flow. Teka matako panshi will never be an insult. Yesterday, today, and in future, it is our language. It is our a colloquial expression of calm down, relaxed, or sit down. Is it an insult? It is not. Would you be upset if you heard somebody say that? Why would you be? That is our language. Unless, Angel, you want to tell me, Binwell, stop using your language. In our language, the Bemba language, there are so many expressions we use that otherwise you say are insulting. Would you stop us from using them? No, you can't. That is who we are. We are very proud to use that, our language, unless the speaker wants to say she doesn't want to hear any Bemba in that parliament. I can tell you the speaker has entertained a lot of other languages in that parliament. And oftentimes, those languages they use there, our friends on the right, are actually more insulting than Teka matako panshi.
Honorable, in the manner in which you are, again, I come back, articulate issues and present issues on the floor of the House. Your primary allegiance is to the people of Nkana constituency. That's where everything started from. They are the ones that sent you to that particular house. And in the 4 years you have been into that house, are you able to comfortably say that you have represented the people of Nkana well? If I open the phone lines from people of Nkana, are they going to say, Honorable, you have done a good job?
Now, I'm not a judge to say, otherwise you'll be asking me to blow my own trumpets, but I can tell you this.
What have they
why was I elected into parliament? The role of a member of parliament, number one, is to go to parliament to represent his people. The question today is, have I represented the people of Nkana? Have I failed to account myself? Have I gone to parliament and kept quiet? Or I have raised important issues affecting my people? That is now up to you to answer. What I know I have done from day one when I went into parliament, whereas my friends have chosen to dine with the ruling party, I have held this ruling party, to account. I have brought issues affecting my people. There was a day when I was almost singing daily over a road called Chiburuma Road until they had to give it to me. Is that not representing my people? I think that's up to the people of Nkana to say. Now, let me tell you, the other role I have is to go and lobby for development. Today, as we speak, Nkana has more development, and I can challenge anyone around this issue. Nkana today, no matter how much you want to hate me, has more development than 99% of all the constituencies in Zambia. Because today, Nkana has the most roadworks being done in Nkana. We've just completed the 7.8 kilometers of the Chiburuna Road, the first concrete road. Where did it come from? It came from my representation, my constant singing in parliament and visiting the president. He has already confirmed, the president has already confirmed, I have visited him not once to push for that development. Today, as we speak, Nkana has 14.7 kilometers of tarred roads. They are doing, as we speak, in Parklands, there are quite a number of those roads that have already been done. There is no other constituency in Kitwe who is having those roads, which is having those roads, tarred roads. It's only in Nkana. Okay? In Nkana today, we have even addressed issues like sanitation in Buchi. We have done quite a good number of infrastructure projects away from CDF. Because everybody is talking about CDF. For me, CDF is nothing, considering the needs of my people in Nkana. Now, your question as to whether am I proud? Today, I walk very proud that what I promised the people of Nkana, I have done the most. Am I perfect? No, I am not. Can I do better? I can, which is why every day I endeavor to do much more. Now, in my representation, that is where sometimes people think I am overdoing. Now, that is also up to you to judge as to whether I am overdoing, in which case, Angel, and I say this to people, today I can choose to go quiet. I can stop speaking for farmers. I spoke for farmers last week. The minister came to the floor yesterday, and the minister has secured a loan of 5 million to pay the farmers. It is me that moved this government to go and borrow. Last week, I brought a proposition that we must start managing our resources. In that parliament, they rejected it, but the president has constituted a technical team of ministers to start pursuing or exploring ways in which they are going to manage critical minerals like gold and others. Are they not from? Is that not from me? It is from me. So, if the people insist I am overdoing it, I can stop. By the way, whatever it is that I'm doing is actually very risky for my life or on my life. My friends have chosen the easy way out. They are dining with the ruling party as we speak. Can I not do that? I can. I have got a family with small children. My last born is only 2 years. I am already in court over frivolous accusations. Don't you think I can go to HH and say, and I'll be walking scot-free? I can. So if the people of Zambia thinks I'm overdoing it, they don't need me, they don't need my voice, and trust me, I'll live a very comfortable life.
So you're telling the Zambians it's up to them.
It's up to them.
Take it or leave it.
Let's take it or leave it.
If they continue to say that, Honorable Member of Parliament, for Nkana, you're overdoing it, you will stop.
Angel, if the people of Zambia petition I can stop right away. I can make a phone call to President HH for once, and I will go quiet. Now I join the Lumbani Madoda and be saying yeah, and I'll be paid, and I'll use that money to my family. In fact, I can even demand a paycheck. I can even say, okay, now if I'm politics, I can. Is it worth it? I don't think so. I think that the opportunity given to me was to go and represent the people, not just the people of Kitwe or Nkana, but the entire citizenry, most of whom are pressed with a lot of issues beyond their comprehension.
Others have concluded that you've neglected the people of Nkana, and now you are focusing on the new movement called Ichawa. Are you signaling that your assignment is done in Nkana constituency?
What is neglect? When I was elected by the people of Nkana, I was given specific assignments to do. Go there and represent us on these issues. In each ward, the 8 wards of Nkana, there were major issues that the people expected me to help resolve. The question today is, are we resolving those issues? As we speak right now, I've just been boasting about the number of projects going on in Nkana. Contrary to those assertions that I've neglected, the role of an MP is to go and push for development. When you see roads being done in Nkana, it is Binwell Mpundu. Make no mistake. When you see sanitation projects being done, it is out of my effort, my sweat, and my constant push. At least for those who were doubting, the head of state has been able to confirm that whatever you see us doing the chochise on Facebook, in parliament, behind the curtains, we actually do conversate. I have been to community house myself to push for this development. And at least if you were doubting that, the president has been on record telling you this gentleman came to my place and we discussed this and I promised and I've delivered. So what is neglect? Neglect is
when
when
you even get to neglect. So in as far as we are concerned, you enjoy a very good relationship with the current head of state.
I do. Make no mistake to think that I hate President HH because I'm reminding him of his promises. I don't hate. Have you ever heard me insult HH? I've never. And I don't intend to insult him. Never. because between you and me, I have got a very good relationship with President
So
HH.
sometimes when I see your Facebook post when you say Ababa UPND, who are you referring to?
The whole lot.
Because it's also part of you.
The whole lot. It doesn't mean when I remind you that you are liars. Because by UPND, the truth is by UPND babufi.
So that's the president inclusive.
Bonse, babufi. They lied over so many things. They lied that Wakabwesho Obunga. They lied that they will deal with the electricity. They lied that they will fight corruption. They are the most corrupt now. You know, they lied that they will end Kadarism. They are the most violent political party today.
So seeing that you have that special relationship with the president, have you presented these issues to the president?
Well,
you say, Mr. President, I feel this is where you are missing.
I have done that using the platforms that have been available. Oh, by the way, it is not easy now to meet up with the president. I've also made several calls, especially even around the issue of the funeral of President Edgar Lungu, may so rest in peace.
What were your submissions?
I have made calls to him. Let's sit down. Maybe, you know, the way the members say, Amanuela Fumamu Ifuesa Ana Mchuru. I have made calls to the president that I want to sit down with you. That opportunity has not been given. What options do I have using the social platforms? This platform is too powerful.
But I thought you said you have a good relationship with him. You've been to community house.
Yes.
So
I used to go to. We used to go to community house.
So you no longer go to community
house? No, we don't.
House.
We don't have that chance. Those times I meet, I sent to Okay.
So nowadays they don't call.
They don't call, but we've also made calls to meet. I have made a call, especially around the issue of the funeral of the former president. I've made a call, boss. I am available that we can have this conversation. So when they don't call you, what do? There's a platform. So make no mistake to think that I hate President HH. I don't, and I would never. I don't even have a reason. In fact, I've said this to many. I think genuinely President HH likes me.
Oh.
He has indicated so. He has indicated the willingness to want to work with me.
And you like
not
it,
one
right?
time.
Yeah.
He was in Kitwe. He was telling me, he called me. I sat next to him. He told me, I would like to work with you. He has indicated so many times that he would want to work with you. I would have loved to work with him. It's just that the environment around him is so toxic. His approach to governance is also not, does not align with what I believe in. Okay, as an example, I believe that it is a duty of the head of state to help fight corruption. He's not doing that. Corruption now has grown to almost over 600% since 2021.
Okay, let's finish up with the neglecting of Nkana, so that we jump onto the Ichawa movement. So then it's not true that you have neglected the people of Nkana for your movement.
What is neglect? Neglect is when you fail to represent your people. And the representation of your people means, number one, go there kotoa kutumakatula ndireko. Has Binwell not done that for the people of Nkana? That is up to you to answer. The other responsibility of Binwell is to go there and make proposals of what can work to the benefit of the people of Nkana. I have taken several motions to Parliament, including just monetization, which of course went through. When we monetize our social platforms, all the young people of Nkana may not even need jobs. They can create content. I've got a lot of artists in Nkana. I started a program sponsoring artists. If we monetize our social platforms, those young people do not need jobs, will not need jobs. They can actually create content and survive. I've taken proposals as an example, creating a film fund. There are a lot of actors in Nkana who can, survive on us having that incentive. I have proposed to government that let us start managing some mineral resources. I call them strategic mineral resources. The revenue we can derive from this undertaking or from this decision can benefit the people of Nkana. I have also given out myself to lobbying for the development that today you currently are seeing in Nkana. Like I said, if you go to the whole lot of Kitwe, when we got 16 kilometers of tarred roads, the entire Kitwe, I got 14.7 kilometers. And Kwacha got 1.3 kilometers. So out of 5 constituencies, you are allocated 16 kilometers, and Nkana gets 14.7. Would you say is neglected, Nkana? The Chiruma Road was a very thorny issue for many years. Today we have the first ever concrete road. Would you say I've neglected? The people of Buchi have suffered, the challenge of sanitation. I have secured a $7 million project to address that problem. Would you say I've neglected? The people of Kitwe West have, for the very first time, that community used to only have 4 classrooms. At the only school that was there, Kamakonde School. Today that school has got a total of, that is 5 plus 8 plus 4, 12 classrooms from 4 in only 5 years. Plus, we have a fully fledged secondary school with teachers' houses in that same area, because their biggest issue was the access to education. Would you say I've neglected those people? The people of Miseshi were commuting, let me just say commuting to go to the toilet. They were depending on communal toilets. I secured a big project to ensure that all those houses have got standalone toilets. I know the people of Mindolo are complaining right now because the issue of water has not been addressed. But as we speak right now, there's a contractor who is on site to resolve the issue of water in Mindolo.
Under CDF?
Yes, of course, that is the only CDF project of all these things I've mentioned. So you can see, in fact, all these projects I've spoken about, it's only the Mindolo issue where we got 5 million kwacha from the CDF. Everything else I've mentioned here has got nothing to do with CDF. It's all central government.
So central government has been funding your project?
Yes, because I've consistently pursued them for them to come to our aid.
Okay, so in as far as you are concerned, there hasn't been any neglect of the people of Nkana?
What is neglect?
You have ably represented them.
No, but listen, I am only a human being. Okay, I cannot be perfect.
But from your side,
let me say this.
On the way you assess issues,
Angel,
you have done a good job in Nkana.
Angel, you are the judge of character, you are the judge of performance. If you were to allow me to blow my trumpets, I can tell you, I can challenge anyone in this country. Tell me one MP that has performed better than Binwell Mpundu in terms of deliverables to the community. I will challenge you, name one MP. Name, Angel, one member of parliament out of the 156 who has more deliverables in their constituents than Binwell Mpundu. Then we can settle this score.
So, in short, you are saying you've been the best performing member of parliament.
You are
the best. This is what you are saying.
No.
That you have been the best performing member of parliament.
I am not saying I am.
Out of the 156 constituencies,
you are pushing me.
You are number one.
You are pushing me to the wall.
That's what you just said.
No, I am barely stating my position now. I will not be the judge and jury. You now remains to now judge, not based on what I have said, but combining what I have said and what can be obtained or what is obtaining on the ground. Because you see, using this platform, I can lie, I can exaggerate. But what you can do as journalists is to go on the ground and marry what I am saying to what is on the ground.
Yeah, I know you have been asked this question several times, but for the sake of our listeners on Radio Christian Voice that haven't really had a chance to understand, very briefly, the HRIH movement, just take us through it. Is this a pressure group? Is this an incoming political party? We just want to get our facts right on this HRIH movement.
HRIH movement is both a pressure group and an incoming political grouping or party. This is basically a political movement that was born out of the need for contemporary leadership. This country is yearning for better leadership. And the fact remains that for many years, in fact decades, we have depended on the same people to manage the affairs of the country in these positions. From the time when MMD took over from UNIP, remember, MMD was a political party founded by people that simply jumped out of UNIP. The PF was a political party formed out of people that jumped from MMD. When you go to UPND today, 3/4 of the people you see holding senior positions are people that came from PF and MMD. Now, it tells you that we've been recycling the same politicians over and over again. They say in English that insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, and you expect different results. People have been wondering, what is wrong with Zambia? There's nothing wrong with Zambia, because God in his infinite wisdom blessed Zambia with immense resources. We have land, arable land, that can, produce food enough to feed the entire continent. We have the best water bodies of fresh water. Okay, these water bodies can produce enough electricity to supply the entire region. We've got other resources like uranium that can be, harnessed into nuclear energy. This problem we have of electricity can easily be tackled had we exploited the uranium resources and created a nuclear power plant. That project was simply stopped by the UPND. Otherwise, we had a gift from we had an undertaking from the Russian government that we were going to build a nuclear power facility. When we come into power ourselves, that is the first undertaking we will do, explore the nuclear potential. This country has got mineral resources. The only problem, Angel, is that the people you have been appointing or electing into positions are interested more in self than in the well-being of our people and the welfare of our country, which is why we are here today, where this country is literally plunged in darkness. This is why we are here, where people are barely surviving because of the skyrocketing prices of commodities. This is why we are here, where this country is literally divided on tribal and regional, grounds. It's because of your leadership. So when you have a problem, remember the first point in addressing a problem is to diagnose it. The problem we have in Zambia is the leadership. Mm-hmm. And the only challenge is that you've been recycling the same characters at leadership.
So the Ichaba Iche movement...
So Ichaba Iche is a platform we've created to sort of prop up or raise a new crop of leaders. We believe that we now need a leadership that is aligned or alive to the opportunities they are in. And there's no better a grouping of people than the young generation. So we formed up a movement, which is a political movement we call the Movement for Good Governance, MGG. But because we are targeting to groom young people, we sloganed this movement as Ichaba Iche. Now, Ichaba Iche, that is if you speak Bemba or familiar with the Bemba language, or you can call it comfortably in your language. You can call it Sabanana if you are from the West. You can call it Njabana if you are from the South. You can call it Chabafana like these Dao people from the East. Or you can simply call it Kiabanike. So the movement is not Ichaba Iche by name. It is the Movement for Good Governance, but carrying a slogan, Ichaba Iche or Chabafana, Njabanana, Kiabanike or Sabanana.
So currently existing as a pressure group.
It is currently existing as a pressure group, but we are operating more like a political grouping, because now we have got all the structures that are the exact similarity with what a political party is.
And when you say that when we come into power, this means you are gearing up for 2026?
Yes. The idea of the Movement for Good Governance is to push young people into leadership position in 2026. Our idea is that we want to sponsor young people as councillors, as mayors, as MPs, and we will sponsor a presidential candidate. So when I say when we come into power, expect Ichaba Iche to be on the ballot at all levels, from councillor all the way to presidency.
That's now, for 2026.
2026 now. Whether we are going to go as independents or whether we are going to go as a political party is a decision we are going to make not long from now. But be assured, those who are listening, that for each one of the options, we are all ready. Should we want to go as a political party, we are ready.
So when you say sponsor a presidential candidate, are you automatically disqualifying yourself that you're not going to stand as presidential candidate? Or that's the plan?
I've actually
altogether.
declared interest to stand as a presidential candidate. So as it is,
So in as far as Nkana is concerned, Nkana constituency, you're done with Nkana.
Well, for me at the moment, we need to prop up a new person in Nkana. I have done my part. I think that there's need for me to leave room for others to also showcase what they can do for the people of Nkana. I will eternally be grateful to the people of Nkana. I know that this is premature because I need to go and address the people and tell them, look, I think my time is up. There's much more to do because the country needs to be saved. And it will take brave men and women to save the situation. It will take, selflessness. Because if I had wanted, Angel, I could have gone and camped in Nkana to secure my back or my stay in power. But I think that the country needs much more, needs my services. We need to, rise up to save the situation. Because this country, beyond 2026, by you pending about Konkanyapo, there's no country to talk about.
Criticism has come to say, but Honorable, we love your ambitions. But others even say you would have done 2 terms in Nkana and then perhaps maybe 2031. Others even say, we feel our Honorable is not yet ready. How do you respond to criticism, especially people that say that
I'm not ready?
You are not ready.
I've been in politics for the last 19 years. I have served in mainstream politics. I was leader in the PF from a branch level all the way to provincial secretary of the Copper Belt of the ruling party, if you know what that means. Provincial secretary of the ruling party on the province called the Copper Belt. I was appointed to head not a small district, Quito district, as governor, district commissioner. Here I am representing the country and Nkana constituency in particular in parliament. 19 years I have been in power. Others are saying ulimuaiche, others are saying ulimukulusan. Tell me, there will never be a point when people will always agree that people will always have something negative to say. Traore is only 36 years old. Do you know, I'm sure you are aware what is happening in Burkina Faso insofar as the development of that country is concerned. Would we say the same that Mwaiche, he needs more experience? President HH, in comparison to me, came to the table with no experience whatsoever at governance. I come to the table with a lot of experience. I have served in public service. I have served now in the legislature as a member of parliament. And I'm now saying, I think my time has come that I can serve at that level. Would you still say that I need more time?
How about those that say we feel that the Nkana Member of Parliament is going to be ready for the presidency if, for example, he stops calling people in the National Assembly as Ichimutwe? Because in as much as you have explained that Ichimutwe is not an insult, especially when you're using it Bemba language and whatnot, but also you're also alive to the fact that when I say a statement, right? When I say a statement, especially, we've got a lot of languages. So let's say, for instance, if you are saying a statement in Bemba and you're taking it, just an example, maybe to Lozi or Tonga, then you know that this statement, this person may feel offended. What we usually do, Honorable, is that we don't use those statements because we don't know how the other person on the other tribe may take it. And for that, we just say, okay, fine, I'm not going to use this, but I will use this one that maybe this person will be comfortable with. It's different with, if you are Bemba, you're telling me Bemba, I will understand. But when there's that crisscross, there's that caution to say, I cannot use this because I don't know how this person is going to translate. So others that say, not until we see you stop using such terms, especially in the National Assembly, is when we're going to say that you are ready.
We're being very unrealistic if we are going to judge a person's ability to lead based on a statement as simple as Ichimutu. In which case, why didn't we judge President HH, who went telling people Nakuchitobubi, and insulted? Because President HH went on a public podium and insulted. You still went ahead and gave him presidency. The leaders you have today, Jack Mwimbu, Gary Nkombo, went in parliament and insulted. I am not justifying insults, but I think you are being unfair to suggest that...
So we're being unfair to you?
You are being unfair to suggest that my potential or your consideration of being ready is only when I avoid Ichimutwe. Let me say this. I will not avoid calling you Angel Ichimutwe if you don't behave as a grown-up. That is a promise, because I'll be lying to you if I tell you that if you misbehave, I will call you as Ichimutwe.
So for that, they're telling the Zambians it's up to them. They can take it or leave it.
Well, unfortunately, you know, I am a Bemba. I'm Bemba myself. I'll tell you, Angel. In Bemba, we say, ukwangala tabapatikisha. I am not in the business of forcing people. All I have to do is to prove myself that I'm available, to offer myself that I'm available for service. And I've also been able to prove what I'm able to do, what I stand for. In fact, I can tell you, go and watch my character. Start studying my life from when I was a little child up to now. You'll be able to judge as to whether I am befitting. But for me to say, nalami patikisha, nalami ebat naleko kulanda tichimutwe, unfortunately, unfortunately not.
I spend a lot of time also seeing what you are doing, and I came across a very interesting comment on your platform, and I told myself the next time I have a chance to have a conversation with you, I'll ask you this question. So someone came and said, look, we love everything that you are doing, but you've got a close friend in the name of Honorable Christopher Kangombe that has also sort of hinted at standing for presidency in the year 2026. So the question was, if you cannot work together with your friend, perhaps your friend hasn't joined the Ichawaiche movement, the movement for good governance, why do you want us to work with you when your close friend cannot work with you?
Let me say this. The fact that you, Angel, and I have a relationship, tulangala bonse, tulatamba bonse, bola, does not mean that we are aligned in everything. Okay? They say two cannot work together unless they agree. Christopher and I enjoy a very beautiful relationship. We are friends. In fact, we've turned from being friends to brothers. He's a brother that I never had. We've worked together in politics. He was mayor, I was district commissioner. We may be two different personalities. Christopher is a gentleman. In all manner and intent, he's a gentleman. Okay? He's more reserved. Me, I am what you can call a ghetto boy. Me, I'm from the Combon. Okay? I meet you at your point of need. If you come with Namawala, I'll meet you Namawala. If you come no Christiani, nanena la kulanga Bible. That is me. Okay? Now, trust me, me and Christopher have been discussing, especially on the possibility of working together. And at an opportune time, we'll be able to announce, that decision. For now, we do believe, Christopher, go and market yourself. Binwell, go and market yourself. We are better off this way, so that Christopher can attract the people that can, as it is now, Christopher can attract a particular set of people. I can attract a particular set of people. As it were, people say Christopher attracts, you understand, right? So don't you think it's beautiful that Christopher can go and, gather some of us, abakuma nabashani my ideas, na gather nandi bajerabo, the junkies, and then imagine when we come and agree, say Chris and I, we're now working together. Imagine what we would bring to the table. He would bring, and I would also bring. So what you see is not a work of accidents. It's carefully planned. Sometimes, what comes before our eyes and ears is less than what the real situation could be. So Christopher and I are very close. We align in thoughts, and maybe call it part of our strategy.
Okay, part of the strategy. I'll allow you to address three key sectors of the economy, and I would like to give an opportunity to the movement for good governance, aka Ichawaiche. on what your plans are for the mining sector. If you can just briefly give us those points, because these are very important. Mining sector, the agriculture sector, and also energy. What would be those three important bulletins or key highlights that the HRHA movement has with these particular sectors? So that's agriculture, energy, and also which other one did I say?
So agriculture, mining, agriculture, and energy.
Very quickly, before we bring in phone lines.
So Angel, let me say first of all that the key to our country's success lies in all of us mobilizing resources. All these three sectors you've mentioned are hinged around our ability to mobilize resources. I will tell you this: Zambia does not need to continue going to beg to the IMF, World Bank, or anywhere else for resources. The number one thing that the movement for good governance, HRHA, will do is to explore all the available resources locally. Number one, we will need to seal all the leakages. Angel, we are losing so much money in these leakages. As an example, you heard the ambassador of the US saying we are losing in illicit financial transaction around the mining sector, $3 billion every year. Now, can you relate this to this situation? Government has given the mining companies, named mining companies, a waiver to export our copper concentrate for free from June to December. Now, copper concentrate is not just copper being exported. It's a combination of gold, cobalt, and other minerals. When a government starts to export concentrate, you are doomed. Or otherwise, there is a cartel to ensure that those who are exporting export more. All right? When we take over, we will not allow concentrates to be exported. Because we would want an account for the gold resources, an account for our cobalt resources, an account for uranium, as well as copper resources. Can I tell you, Angel, we are going to lose in 6 months roughly about $5 billion in one single selfish decision to allow the export of concentrate for free. Make no mistake to think that what we are losing is only the suspended excise duty. You have suspended the excise duty despite your economy limping. You are losing that excise duty, but you are also losing all those minerals that are going to be taken out unaccounted for because they are being taken out in form of concentrates. So we are going to stop that, and we are going to save not less than $5 billion per annum. Number two, we will not allow, and I promise we are going to reverse the decision of giving away armor targets to those investors before they can complete the project. Today, you decide to give. Let me tell the Zambian people what your government has done, the UPND. The PPP project entails that you government, you don't have money, right? You contract a company who has money. The undertaking is that when they do the job, then you are going to pay them. So it has been found convenient that when the contractor does the job, you give them the targets to start managing, collecting the money they invested. We will not allow such a situation. At any given time, when there's even a PPP project, it will still be government to manage our toll facilities, because our toll facilities are a security installation. You cannot hand over a security infrastructure to foreigners. So all that money that is being taken by the micro ocean, they are going to pay for it. They are going to pay all of it in full because they are stealing. Do you know why they were given those targets? On the pretext that they are going to now be using the money they are collecting to work on the existing road, to repair. The word is repair. So the minister signed a statutory instrument to give these targets before the contractor finishes the project, because they were supposed to give them after they finish the project, right? but they've given them to start collecting money on the pretext that they are going to use that money to repair the old road as they are doing the new road. If you go to that road, there's actual works going on the old lane. Meaning that balaba contractor balia balebo mfie ishenu shapuma targets to actually do the road. But UPNG has been telling you that they are spending $650 million on the dual carriageway. How is it that they are spending $650 million when you have actually given them the targets to be collecting money to pump into the road? We must seal those leakages, and we are going to have enough money to spend in social sectors. The border posts. We have 27 borders, around which borders 12,000 to 20,000 trucks are crisscrossing every day. Every truck pays $30 per axle to cross a border post. If you do your mathematics, per annum, we can collect $1.2 billion from just our border posts. These are border posts that are recklessly being given to foreigners. You risk your sovereignty, you risk your security, you give border posts, you surrender your source of revenue to foreigners. We are going to seal all those leakages, and all that money we will collect are now going to be invested in the mining sector, or rather energy sector as an example. So in the energy sector, we have the potential to generate more power than we need around the hydropower sector. But we've been beaten because of issues of climate change. That is why we don't want to rely completely on hydro. There's now a need to diversify. When we come into power, we will not depend on solar. Solar will be part of our alternatives. But we are going to explore nuclear energy. Angel, nuclear energy, we have plenty of uranium resources in the Northwest. Already, we will not be reinventing the wheel. When this idea was floated to explore potential in nuclear, we already did establish an atomic agency that was led by Roland Musiska the late, in preparation for a nuclear power plant. We already started sending students, Zambian students, to go and train or learn nuclear physics in Russia. Those students are still available. They will just need to be called to duty. So when we come into power, the number one thing we will do is to go and invest in a nuclear power plant, because a nuclear power plant has got the capacity to supply all our energy needs. So for us, we want to assure the Zambian people that when we come into power, you will have to give us maybe just a year to sort out this problem. There will be short-term measures. Short-term will include investments in solar as well as importations, because we may need to cushion the situation. Right now, as things stand, people are going with only 3 hours, if you are lucky. In some places like where I live, just a few meters from here, we have been having 2 days of no power. That is how bad the situation is, and it's going to get even worse. When we come into power, I'm not promising the Zambian people that we'll address this problem in 2 months or 1 month. You will need to give us at least a year. In that 1 year, we'll ensure that we stabilize the situation by a combination of measures. Number one, invest in solar. Solar takes 10 months, which is why I can't promise you that we'll handle the problem within 2 months, because you will need to account for the 10 months. Number two, we are going to import. Importation can happen immediately. Okay? It means that we'll have to cushion the deficit by importation. We will not do what the UPND is doing. Put a middleman, mwabika po company yenu, ya mkulash tamalite ku Mozambique, and then ZESCO is now collecting money from you in the name of emergency tariffs. They ask you to pay more for power. They collect that money. Instead of them going to buy from Mozambique using the money you have contributed through emergency tariffs, they now use your money to go and pay an intermediary or a middleman. So they use their own company to go and buy through emergency tariffs, higher tariffs, to amukula company. We will not do that. ZESCO, using its own infrastructure, will go and import power. We will raise this money from these leakages. We will not go and ask the Zambian people to pay emergency tariffs. We are going to mobilize the resources.
We'll have to open
the mining quickly.
We have to open the phone lines. This is 10:33.
Okay.
And we have to be done.
I have to do the mining and agriculture as we speak.
0956 200490. That's the number that you can call us for your contributions and questions. 0956 200490. That's the number that you can call us for your contributions and questions. Let's make it snappy. 60 seconds so that we have in as many people as we can call onto the show. 0956 200490. Okay, let me just get my phone line working. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Sanjay.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Lamek calling from Kitwe.
Lamek from Kitwe. Go ahead with the contribution. 60 seconds.
In coming Thursday, Mpundu Mulishan Mukai.
Ndife bune wala meki mulishani bakalamba.
Selimu Sarata Zambi.
Thank you bakalamba.
Zambi to Astevana. Please, say Yamalaita, I'm the poor Yamalaita. Yes, sir, 2 hours. Yeah. Maji na wakashiranja kwa saluni bana leto washika kujuta kushtisha awana kababa shipso tapevoreti so ute ko chukwa na kufidwa ndio wale position wale ku opposition chali zingi sana ndio wale teka bino shara ku opposition ndio ko fere chipuna sawa shupa so iseni ikatameni la dino Mpundu na wale wonse Sukniepo Buteko, 886, Tulemekeko Vota Gayangi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
D within Osaka.
Your name again?
D.
D. Oh, DD.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead with the contribution.
Morning, Binwell Mpundu.
Morning, my sister, but Dib. I think about my or Murishan.
I think my.
Thank you. Okay. MK.
Ala mukulanda kwenu tamuli nesivi. Babino ofo mule bomba fewino. Chibeba chali kwa chama pinda. Kuchimba kambwire ndalondolola mu bayindi ubawufu. Napachatemba. Oyi mukulanga kwenu ngavulela ndamu ya parliament twali mulati ba opposition ba independent tabale mtenda kuli ba meri muti. Elo twamunapo speak omwana kashimo twale mulati akachiranga pira fyani na mugala. Elo ena sta sitoba ulokufika sana. UPN ndina speaker uli atwamuna na masimbo chivi sana. Amba na isa kusho mwebe ne mulanda ati ichimutwe ichimutola ifole tole kula matu bati ichimutwe na ino nshita ikale ni ukona mwe ichimutwe nibola tuweba yadi bani language in Bemba nomba mpaka kwa mtundu mwe wala mfika katushi chika kutundumbi na isa kumibombele Binwell Mpundu ikatena ni abantu nabachula ngemye baneti no tukutula na panola abantu balenda no tubunga munkosi na tusaladi. I'm telling you kwena lesala amubai bomo ya bati ubufi muri 10 commandments ubula sebanyo ndi base no bubu salo kubepo kufulunganya nempofu nefilima elo lesaba phela chicho leli la kankupela elo lesala phela lo kuselamu elo bantu bala kutambali kwa sebanyo.
All right, we'll have to let you go, Didi. Thank you so much for your contribution. Really appreciate. Let's keep the comments short so that we have as many people as we can call in. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Mushani, Binwell Mpundu.
Ndife bune bakalamba Murishan.
Ngono ndikopa doto Bashmalani.
Bashmalani.
Yemkwa Binwell Mpundu kwa mu parliament na special manusana. Na ikisionse mulanda filyabajenga kwa madam speaker. Kamba and madam speaker wale bakata baipinzi. So kumune temu ba opposition bena ya bakumshatapula elo mulande fishinka isha malaiki bashwa ipinzi batinga mwamukulande fe madam speaker chawo mulayo kubalekanya balekingirira kwa president apeti kutokwati mukwato mutima umo mwikatani abantu nga chakapita abantu tukaboko abana bisu kutusibuka kirapa ero kwisa mu development mwe aba mwali bomba uli awo no musebo ulya mwe barenga nimwe obene pressure yinu kwa salafe zinga tawapanga mtu abayo kwa kuna nikuli ale ilishanya kuno development nangu yimo mulandi waka imo mwali kwa pressure echo musebo ulya bapangile mulandi wa mubene so mukana tena ile monika so ba president mukosepo abantu bale kwana balungula wini ule musende muke mupepi mwikatani kwa bantu ngata njobuteko kutusibuka hapa
thank you so much for your contribution Mashmalan. We'll have to let you go. All right, thank you so much Mashmalan. Let's get in as many calls as we can. Okay, hello, good morning. You are through to the program.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Mr. Kaisala calling from Sorol, sir.
Mr. Kaisala, go ahead with the contribution, 60 seconds.
Yes, please. Come here, so that one in particular, we talk about groups.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking for questions from the callers. Hello, good morning. You are through to the program.
Bomba shani kupane huko.
Buno mashuken mkwai.
Buno mkwai. Honorable Binwell Mpundu bomba shani mkwai.
Twabuka bakalamba mulishani.
Aho tulifebu mulene na wacho ni mapekundo kwa chipuru kusuku.
Bishari ba mwapi.
Aho tulifebu ino ninsela cheka ikaona nipo. Ine kwene foninga lunda poshe pamulendo wa speaker. Fulo bakaunda fika pali ba Edgar Lungu bayashimeswa tushe mutende. Katwatala mona po speaker wa banga ba ne remote. Ili ingire turamona tukakonga parliament patulimisepera. Urushengo elwa kula pali ba speaker beso. Bantu ama opposition benda rapela na ngwende point bena ba speaker bala chimona muchimbi because nishose mulanda chachinga bena fate sichapufi esibale similisha ina bena ba ruling party bena ngabale nje bapereshita lokupusha bapusha but bunga mwene chinga chakutetu mwene tira kufubenya misepela kufubenya Zambia nishibena chaba kalipa so ibunda tule chimona bwino andrushengo lulesale mona chinga fere sale mona kusa kuli mwapanga chichabaije na tuchitenga pamonga misepela aho kabona andrefi kwamba kuti bakaona kwa abantu kwati muri bakaunda bari bombele muri bachiruba bari bombele muri bamwana wasa bari bombele pakafina muri bakata basabo but bele baleteruka sinye bifwe misepela tukabomba kolisa ko chichabaije la mukominga ba Binwell Mpundu chifye chikosheni let's support the man.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
Hello, good morning. You are through to the program.
Morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Raymond calling from Quito.
Yes, Raymond.
Binwell Mpundu.
Nabuka ba Raymond mulishani.
Kalambawandi, we are proud of you.
Thank you.
Foto mitumene ku, in fact I'm calling from Nkana constituency.
Mkwai.
Foto mitumene ku parliament imwe. Ku ya for kwati let's lobby for my projects ku. Akapa musobo kuro mwapanga sana bakalamba nchuru maronde. Uli omusobo ngatawapangwa Binwell ngatawakoserepo. Nomona ndo watu alikosa po musobo wapanga. And also to make a laws in parliament. So for mwasuka imwe laws yabo kurondoka ngaisa mulasuka so foto mitumene. Then on capital project CDF na tushata wamepera yonse we know. But if I come to representation what tushita sana represent mwako atomwezo. So my interest of time ba Binwell chava ichiva kalamba twali chitemwa nomba nchirashinga bwangu sana boss wa initial mwala umero 2026 naba name so that tukamivotere chapa mutukafunye po te kwala wazinga mwabarekeresha abapite tafya kabewe na totera ba boss.
Thank you bakalamba.
Hello, good morning. You are through to the program.
Makabwanji
Buino Maukabwanji.
Kabwino vaempira Binwell Mpundu Maukabwanji.
Tauka Maukabwanji namwe.
Tauka vamai vana vamakanjera pa garden chirolo apa.
Zikomo.
mumabwera apo pa garden park apa. Binwell Mpundu muziva imwe mutikambirako mu parliament vakakubwezani kumbuyo avakangiwa ku ruling achalo mwamvera te. Imwe mukamba muza mukambirako ise. Mukayangana veze vamene avene varuling chalo chavakanga kuyambira maministers vao veze vakangwa kutikambirako veze vafuna tabemberama zikazienda mumatumbu mao mwaona. Imwe vakushitani step mukambo kukamba veze vamba kuyanka. Ava vantu tonavaisa kwatambe kuti tione mane vangaruringire pati chavakanga chavo. Tamene vafuna ni kuyo kuchaya imwe kuti mureke kutikambira mu parliament vangarembo tabeveka koma izo sizateka vaBinwell Mpundu. Ava time yao yatuka kudala tivachosapo ava. Imwe limbani so tabe ichava ichi tamesiona po because mwamusitandizira mu parliament musi. Wambiri titumbelea kuli ino mwaona. Naiki matogeti vantu vapanga road vatenga matogeti for 25 years ambotenga ndalama. Na road yanesioneka kuti enda bwanji. Kumbo tibela tabendalama za chavo.
Right. Amaya Angela, thank you so much. We'll have to let you go. All right, thank you so much for your contribution. Amaya Angela calling us from Garden right here in Lusaka. All right, Honorable, I think we'll have to give you an opportunity to respond to these concerns, but also even as we are explaining, you could also be touching on the agriculture sector because we only have 10 minutes to wrap up.
Very quickly, Raymond in Kitwe. Raymond is from my constituents. It answers the question.
So Kaseya from Kitwe Nkana constituency, this is what he says. He's texting, he says, Honorable Mpundu, good morning. I'm in support of you and everything that you are doing. Just try to sanitize your language. Kaseya from Nkana constituency.
Well, I've labored so much on the issue of the language with Kaseya. I take your advice, my dear brother. We will try and moderate.
If there's a lot of, you know, about, then maybe it calls for maybe shaking.
Well, it's a very tricky situation. You know, it's very, very tricky to know which side weighs more heavily. But I can tell you, if people are, even if it means two people are expressing concern, it means we have to adjust. And all those who are saying the language must be adjusted, I take responsibility and I will endeavor to adjust. Because there's no reason to adjust or to insist when people are saying they don't like it. So I want to promise those who listen to this program that where I need to be where I need to adjust, just tell me where I need to adjust and I will do just that. Raymond raises very important issue. Thank you, Raymond, my brother, because he says I have actually done them proud. He's from Nkana constituents. He remarks of the development that we've taken to Nkana, which is why the people of Nkana sent me here. But he also says tuchiteko ichaba ichibeko slow, so that, but he's insisting on uniting with others. I have said on many platforms that we, as Ichabaich, we are prepared for the sake of this country to unite with others. The only thing I want to insist is that unity must be birthed on mutual consensus. We just don't want to unite with others for the sake of removing the UPND. We want, as we unite with others, it is for the interest of the people and the interest of the nation. Because what we don't want, kutoloka, umulilo, twaingira mu kufuma muri pani twatorokera mu mulilo, because the worst we have had in this country is the UPND. We can't afford to have anything worse than this. So whatever it is that we want to cook, the unity we want to go in for the sake of the country must be something that provides dividends. So Raymond, I've taken. Amake Angela Zikomo, she says, I have been constantly speaking on issues affecting the people. I must not relent. The people are aware of the schemes in Parliament to shut us down, to antagonize us. You know, the beauty of Parliament now is that people are seeing. Contrary to others who wants to say no, people are seeing everything that is happening and they are able to deduce from actions. Vashmalan in Kitwe says the speaker is a cadre. I don't want to be caught up but the truth is the speakers, all of them, the three of them, have been very unfair in the way they treat if of ever opposition. Alaba angel tula tukwa.
The last time you're on this platform, you had a lot of praise for the first deputy.
Unfortunately, bari chinja.
Imagine, are you sure she's changed?
Listen,
I
Angel.
watch her.
No. Imagine.
That's not to say I'm going to give an opinion. But
Angel. I just gave an account of how she suspended me for simply looking at Banakatota. You have no idea. You know, when you suspend me for calling Parliament useless, even though I have a question mark, why today are you going to entertain social media issues? But to be suspended because I moved my head from you to look the other side is the most outrageous thing to ever do when you are in that seat. You see, the speakers enjoys power, but they must never abuse that power to a point of becoming messiahs, where you can reprimand somebody, suspend somebody for simply saying, Wachirarosha kumbiro nderanda na iwe. I am being suspended for calling Uyumulumendo Mongu at Yateke. Honestly speaking, this is something that you can easily say, can you withdraw that statement? Because that is not an insult.
So you're saying even the second deputy speaker, you're
unfortunately bali chinja na bena bali pone na fe momu ine filabandati birds of the same feathers, they flock together. I had so much praise like you say, but what nabo bali samuka fe filafine fie muda bali pone na fe muda mune muchirindi. Anyway, Bashmalani is saying this abantu bale chula, the issue of UPND promises is a nightmare. The UPND promised heaven and earth to the people of Zambia. Abantu tabalaba, the members will say, takalaba mwebwa. When you promise somebody something, they will not forget. So it is up to you. The sad part today is that by UPND, when they are reminded of their promises, you become an enemy. That is why they've even gone to enact cyber laws. The cyber laws were enacted to ensure that people stop holding the UPND to account, such that also walanda valamwe but now bepo fee were misleading the public, and they would want to use that to then antagonize those who are holding divergent views. Can you imagine va UPND le va angel? They even want to impose a constitution on the people of Zambia. Kukana umfwa kwa shanyu kuba UPND. Anyway, in responding to the other issues, Lawmaker of Kitwe, batira Zambia toa sebana. Lawmaker abakashiba bali kwataka saluni, bali kwataka barbershop. Or they are only having 2 hours. Lawmaker ichibi pile from the announcement of the ministry. Even that 2 hours may not even be there anymore. Now, this is over 3 years of the UPND trying to resolve this problem. Remember when the UPND were elected, the HH after the 5th turbine at the Kafue Gorge Lower. Remember, PF invested in the Kafue Gorge Lower, which was going to have 5 turbines to give us a total of 750 megawatts. At the time PF was leaving, 4 machines were on, and the UPND saw the last machine coming on stream. Edidaba HH that mwamona if we have ended load shedding within a few months. Now, UPND prior to being elected were laughing at the PF, saying the excuse of load shedding is unrealistic, it's only the lack of leadership. Because according to the words of President HH, Dubai has never seen rains in many years, yet they are sufficiently supplied with power. So how is it that a country which has got a mass water resources should be in darkness? Today, ama formula yaku Dubai ya kui, that today we are seeing the worst in the history of this country. Angel, this is not an insult. Everything le low. Ama problems abantu bale pitamo le low. It is the worst in the history. The power situation is the worst in the history. The energy situation, the fuel situation, be it the availability, we've never had these serious shortages of fuel in history. We've never had these high prices of fuel in history. So by UPND are going on record to be doing the worst, including fear na value ya kwacha. It is the worst. The prices of commodities is the worst. Everything else, the UPND will go down in history as being the worst at everything. That's why I want to tell the people of Zambia, unfortunately, this government does not have the capacity to resolve this problem, because the power situation should have been improving, right? We even went to a point where the ama emergency tariff so that we can go and import power. And that was going to be only for 3 months, from October into December. They sustained that program up until last week. Last week, elo beshire fumiako ya dama emergency, elo balanda no, to afumiako amalite, to achita reduce amalite. Bafumisheko feira emergency tariff, which was supposed to be removed in December last year. But what month is this? This is November. So the program that should have been sustained for only 3 months, it has gone into the next year, and from January into November. Ama emergency tariffs. They've been stealing from us from January into the end of October in the name of emergency tariffs for power that they've not been able to import.
Honorable, let's get your concluding remarks.
Okay. Mwebeka chalo ba Mzambia. Lesa atupele shuko. Ili akutila kaitekeni. Go and govern yourselves. And many years we agreed to ourselves that we are going to have a system of governance called democracy, in which system we are going to be electing leaders after a period of 5 years. It means, therefore, that after a period of 5 years, we are going to sit down to assess whether those we voted into power have performed or not. I want to appeal to you, the people of Zambia. Time has come to also to do an evaluation of every leader, from councillor to presidents. If they've performed, please don't remove them, because they say don't fix what is not broken. If they've not performed, you have no reason to keep them in those seats. I want to remind you, the UPND came and promised you heaven on earth. They've turned out to be the worst at everything: governance, the rule of law. Inonshta, former politicians tuleka kwa for simply statements. Takwa abapo muchalo chinopo chabirapo. Any politicians who was arrested for mere statements, like suspecting that there is corruption. The way Muni has been taken to jail, even when he's protected by immunities. Ba HH bamobene baleba abantu ba mu UPND, defend yourselves against attacks from PF. Ile lo ba HH also walanda to defend yourselves. They want him to go to jail. Abantu na bakakwelelo bachitotela babakakokwa okupanga omulando. Bomani ukuyamukaka ukupita fe pa market. Meanwhile, you see by UPND every day doing much walks. They are in full-time campaign gear by UPND. But bomani bamukaka for 1 year ukupita fe pa market mukushita kotu fintu twakutwalira abantu abana bakwe kumayanda. Kuti muamona taba nesu, they don't mean well. They are typical of a tyranny government or a dictatorship. What a dictatorship does, first of all, is to silence any critic. And then they start to silence the people within their establishment. These things that you are clapping for, because it is being meted, the injustice are being meted on us, on the opposition. When they finish dealing with us, they will now come to even those of you who are turning us into villains when we are all supposed to be the victims. So I want to make this earnest appeal. Time has come for us as a Zambian people to start having very genuine conversations about the future of this country. Lesari tupala. We now need to mobilize ourselves to start finding solutions to our problems. I don't think that with all this potential in the mining sector, I did make a proposal to Parliament. Let us start managing our mineral resources, strategic mineral resources, gold, emerald, and sugilite. Zambia cannot have these problems we are having today if we started managing these mineral resources on our own using government special vehicles. The reason why we are struggling despite being endowed with all these mineral resources is because we are depending on handouts called taxes. You can't have a government that continues to tax citizens every single day for their survival. We need to get to a point where we can cushion our people. What we are undertaking as a movement, Ngatuaisa Mupawa, we are going to cushion our people from paying all these hefty taxes because we are going to mobilize or harness our own resources. So I'm here saying, every time an issue comes, let us introspect and have very reasonable conversation. I want to make a pledge that despite being sent out of Parliament yesterday, my voice will not be silenced. I know why I've been suspended is because our friends are preparing to bring the bogus Bill 7. That Bill 7 must be rejected because it is unconstitutional. The president has hoodwinked the Zambian people by establishing what he is calling the technical committee, which is even not so technical, but he has given it terms of reference which are only going to legitimize Bill 7 or to cover or clothe Bill 7. There is no intention whatsoever to give us a proper constitution through that agenda, but only to amend the constitution to perpetuate the stay of the UPND in power.
Thank you
and
so
all
much
reasonable citizens must stand up and say no to these unconstitutional undertakings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my dear brother. I'm very grateful for the invitation.
All right. Thank you so much. This is where we come to the end of the program. Thank you so much, everybody that texted, called, and also our Facebook viewers. Thank you so much. Up next, we do have the news brief. Just after that, Chipo comes on with today's edition of Lifestyle. Good morning.